Many of you have heard my testimony before, but it's worth sharing again, at the very least, because I like sharing it. But I went to college as an avowed atheist, wanted nothing to do with God. I hated the idea of religion. I chalked it up to some kind of sentimental crutch for weak people. But when I went off to college, I had a friend that was a Christian that made me promise that I would attend at least once this Christian fellowship that she knew about on that campus. And then she went one step further. She called some upperclassmen that hounded me for the first full week of school. They called me every day, if not multiple times a day, to invite me to whatever the event was that night. And finally, to get these upperclassmen to stop calling me and to fulfill the pledge I had made, I said I would go once. And I walked to this building that was south of the campus. It was just off of the campus, and it was within walking distance of my dorm. And I remember walking in through the front doors, and there was some steps to my right, and I went up those steps, and to my left there was this big open room. But it wasn't open at all, because it was chocked full of college students. And I remember two things almost immediately hit me. One was I looked in this room and saw 100 college students, people my age, that were excited to be at church. And it blew every circuit in my head. What's wrong with these people? The second thing was that I began to do a scan of the room. And in that wonderful knowledge I had secured in high school, ever practical, I began pigeonholing people. That there is a geek, there is a nerd, there's a jock, there's a cheerleader. And then it struck me. They were all mixing together. They were all talking with one another. And I remember watching them and thinking, this is love. It was almost a palpable love that I could feel in the room. They loved each other. They appeared to have nothing in common. Nothing physically, nothing socially. But how little I knew that they had the most important thing in common: the gospel. And it was gospel grounded fellowship, love. And I had to keep going back to find out what was wrong with these people and why they had love like this. And the Lord led me to saving faith through those jocks and geeks and nerds and cheerleaders.